What is up, chocolatiers? Welcome back to another video. I am sleep deprived and tired, and it just hit me as I woke up. I said, I did not review Azrael last night. So yesterday I watched 3 films, as you probably know if you've seen some of the other reviews. I watched Megalopolis, check that review out, it's not a good movie. And then I watched my old ass and ends the night with Azrael. Now, Azrael kind of caught me by surprise because they dropped the trailer like about a month or 2 ago, and it just kind of came out of the blue. It was a Samara Weaving movie that takes place during the Rapture, and that kind of automatically caught me because lately you don't really get a whole lot of biblical horror movies, and if you do, it's like something like Immaculate or like how we got First Omen. It's always the same. So for this to just straight up take place during the Rapture or like after the Rapture, I was really excited. And so, Samara Weaving starring up in it. I was like, I'm going to check this out. And so I can say this movie is very good, very creepy. I really like the tones and the vibe that it had in the movie. Overall, it's a good time. So this movie takes place, like I've said before, after the Rapture. And you have a bunch of people, I guess most of the survivors of the Rapture, the people that didn't go to heaven, the ones that ended up staying behind. They have like kind of like a cross seal on their neck, and they kind of, I don't know, I can't remember. They tell you that they kind of like took like a vow, but I don't know if like they put that seal on there or what, but they basically don't talk because they think that speech is a sin, and so they don't do that. And so Samara Weaving has this relationship with this guy, her boyfriend, husband, whatever. They don't, because once again they don't talk. So most of the storytelling is told through kind of like, cinematography, character facial animations, action, stuff like that. And so I really like that a lot. You don't get that from a movie a whole lot nowadays, where you have to convey things through eyes and emotion, because they can't just tell you what's happening. And so basically she's going with this guy, and they both get kidnapped at the beginning, and you learn that there's kind of like this cult. They remind me of the Seraphites from Last of Us Part 2, if you ever played that game. They like basically whistle because they can't speak. And so it was really cool, it was really creepy seeing them in the woods and stuff like that. And they basically just captured them, and what they do is that they cut like a place on them, so it could be like hand, arm, whatever, so they can start bleeding, and that attracts a demon towards them. And they basically feed them to the demons, and once again, that's where I'm going to stop, because pretty much from there, that's when the movie kind of like hits all of its high notes, because you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's happening, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And this movie just worked for me, man. Like, it takes a turn where at first it ends up being kind of like this horror, like mystery thriller, because you're like, okay, what's going on? How's this happening? I hope she can find her, her man, whatever. And it ends up turning to that, to kind of like this John Wick, like in the Apocalypse movies, kind of like a Book of Eli type, where like Samara Weaving's going like this quest, like, for like vengeance towards this camp that kidnapped them and like this and that. And it's really good. Now, where the movie kind of lost me, unfortunately, I don't know why. I told my friend this because we watched it last night, and I told him, I was like, I think that would be my dream if I ever became like a director, or if I ever had any kind of like input on writing a script about the Rapture. I would want it to be more like biblical, because see, this movie, I was thinking that. I was like, oh, Azrael's like the name of like the angel of death, and like this and that, and they don't really do anything with that. And I was really just kind of hoping that they were going to kind of like, really get into that crazy stuff, like really get into some Book of Revelation stuff, like some terrifying, because that book's terrifying. If you went to Sunday school and you read it's scary, okay? And I really thought they were going to get into that, and like with them having the whole demons like roaming the earth type of deal, I was like, oh, this is kind of creepy or whatever. But the movie just mainly takes place in the woods. There's some really good suspense. There's one scene where Samara Weaving is fighting this other character, trying to get a gun, and something as small as that with music playing in the background was very reminiscent of some other films that I've quite enjoyed. And that's why I keep using John Wick in the phrase, because even though she's not skilled like that, it's like that survival aspect of, oh, I've got to get here, do this thing, and I don't care who I take out, who I kill to get this. And you know, that's where I go back to like the Rapture thing. I just really like one day I just want like to be like almost like a biblically accurate Rapture movie. I don't know how you could do that, but I just feel like it would be crazy because the third act of this movie takes just like the craziest turn, and I go, like it's like if you've seen First Omen, you've seen Immaculate, you've seen those movies this year. It's kind of the same thing. I feel like you get better payoff here than those two movies. And I do like the ending, and I like most of the movie. It's just, for me, I've just seen it 1,000,001 times. I was like when this movie started kind of closing off, I said, like, final boss fight type of deal, whatever. I kind of knew how this was going. But outside of that, this movie works almost like a really good video game movie too, which is why I keep referencing Last of Us Part 2, because like I said, the Sarah fight's almost like how she's fighting them, stuff like that. And like it's almost like kind of like levels to this. It's like, you know, she's got her little stealth, she's trying to find a weapon, now she's doing this, now she's doing that. And like it was almost kind of like to the T. It's like, because like pretty much at the beginning of the film she kind of starts off with the final boss fight and she kind of gets pushed back, and so it's almost like, uh-oh, now I gotta get back here, I know where I gotta go, know where I gotta end up. And I do think the twists are satisfying. I think this movie is pretty good. I was very pleased to see that my theater was not packed necessarily, but there was like 7 other people, and so I was actually happy to see that, because there's like no marketing for this movie. There's just the one trailer I saw, and I saw on TikTok the other day that somebody had a sponsored thing, and I was like, okay, that's about it. That's all I've seen for this movie. I definitely think Shudder is killing it this year. I think them and Neon in particular are putting out some great horror movies this year. You know, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Late Night with the Devil, I really did like, I always forget it, In a Violent Nature. And you know, I like some of their other films they put out this year, and they've got a couple more like VHS Beyond that's coming out later on this year. And then I think, are they doing Terrifier 3? I think that's Terrifier 3, they're producers. But I'm just really glad to see that we're getting more original horror, because even though some of the twists didn't necessarily work for me, this movie, you can't say it's not original. It's awesome. The demon designs look cool. They look scary. Samara Weaving kicks ass. Everybody's acting their tail off. Like, even like side characters, it's like you have to show all this emotion without speaking, and it's crazy. Like when characters like scream or yell, it's like just like this little high pitch, because like they can't scream, they have no voice. And just stuff like that was so awing and amazing. Like, I really thought this movie was really good. And so overall, I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10 and a Mr. Chocolate Silver approval. I thought this movie was epic. Thought it was cool. While some of the twists don't fully hit the hammer, you know, nail on the head for me, I do think that the majority of the stuff that we get leading up to twists, leading up to turns, I really think was amazing. I could see them fleshing this out. I don't necessarily want sequels, but I do think if they were to make something like that, to see where this stuff goes, because it doesn't end open-ended, but it ends to the point where you're kind of like, oh, I wonder how this is going to go. If they ever wanted to continue it, I would definitely love a sequel. I'm not opposed to that at all. And so with that, please comment down below, let me know your thoughts, let me know how you guys feel about this movie. Have you guys watched it? Comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Please like and subscribe for more, and I will catch you guys on the next one.
I love my popcorn. Movies, popcorn.